After the coup in Niger, the BBC said there are concerns Niger could move away from its Western allies and closer to Russia, like its neighbors Burkina Faso and Mali, who've both pivoted to Moscow since recent military coups of their own. No, you mean that they're sick of France occupying them and they want their country back. There, I fixed it for you. See, Niger is a country famous for its uranium. When we talk about neo-colonialism, this is one of the best examples. The French are heavily dependent on nuclear energy, and 1/3 of French homes are powered by uranium that comes from Niger, the Eiffel Tower even. Meanwhile, in Niger, 80% of the population do not even have electricity. France needs Niger's uranium so much, and yet Niger is the second poorest country in the world. How is this possible? Because the French are robbing them blind, taking and giving pennies.
France thought that if they sent money to ECOWAS nations for them to do a military intervention into Niger, that the ECOWAS nations would actually do it. They gave him so much money, funded the hell out of this ECOWAS. Go ahead, do your intervention, restore order in Niger. We need that uranium back up here immediately. Please restore the order. Get some money if you need. Take your soldier over there. You got bread, you got fuel, you got everything. Okay, get into Niger and sort out that mess out. The ECOWAS, after their meeting in Ghana, came out and said, change your mind. We're not going into Niger. It'll just cause more chaos. It'll disrupt the way of life of the people. There'll be just more bloodshed. So no, in fact, we're gonna cripple them with sanction, right? That should work, right? We're gonna cripple them with more sanctions and do our best to reinstall Mohammed Bazoum. But thank you for the money, basically. Our puppets don't play games. Our puppets are professionals in this field. You think you're gonna send money to these puppets and these puppets will actually get up and go to war for you? France forgot that it was dealing with corrupt African politicians. These puppets are corrupt. They will turn their back on you immediately.
You know, it's strange, like the person in the video put it, right? In Ukraine, they are fighting for their sovereignty. They are fighting to push away the Russians. But in Niger, they are fighting against French interests. So when you fool people, when you take people for granted, a day will come when those people will realize that you have taken them for granted and they will react. That's exactly what we are seeing in Niger and in the Sahel region. France has been there for far too long, and France has taken advantage of these people and their country, and France has exploited them. France has sucked them dry. While the French citizens live happily and are very successful, the people in Niger are starving and are growing hungry. The people in Niger have not been treated fairly, and that is why they must stand up for themselves. They have no choice because no one will do it for them. If they were waiting for others to help them, it's clear by now that no one will do it for them. They have to do it by themselves. And that is why they are standing up and saying no to the French. Now, this whole thing cannot just change in a day. It will take some time because remember, this whole entanglement between France and the Niger has been ongoing for many decades. So we cannot just untangle it within a day or two or months. It will take years to get that done. But we must start doing it. That is the only way we are ever going to get free of them. And it will take some hard measures. It will require some difficult decisions to be made. We cannot relent now. We cannot give in. And I know the French will be working behind the scenes to try to infiltrate the government of Chiani. They will be trying their best to make sure that they can set some internal confusion because France is good at that. They are the master of setting confusion. They will try their best to break up the army, to make sure that the army start fighting each other, to make sure that there's rivalry within the army, and then they will come in to support one faction. That's what they always do. So I hope that the people of Niger will be able to sense this from afar. The people of Niger will be able to understand the playbook of the French. And the military leader will know how to unite the army under a common cause. Because the least disagreement, the least breakaway in the army, and they will come in to support whoever is against the current military junta. They will do that. So Niger and Nigerian, you guys have to be very smart. And talking about ECOWAS, everyone knew by now that ECOWAS was that dog that could only bark but cannot bite. Everyone knew that by now. ECOWAS haven't really done anything to give themselves some credibility. If ECOWAS was that organization that people thought to be credible, that people had respect for, they would not allow the leader of Senegal to change the constitution to allow him to run for a third term. They will not allow the leader of Ivory Coast to change the constitution so that he could go in for another term. They won't allow that. But they are spineless. They are toothless. That is why they cannot do anything. And this whole thing in Niger, that they were just dancing, it's not really about Niger. It was about what they can get from the West. They were just playing into the hands of France. Like, okay, give us something. We know you have interest in Niger that you want to protect. So if you give us something, we will intervene militarily in Niger. We will force Niger to accept whatever we want them to accept. But you know, France, you cannot do that, right? Because everyone in Africa hates you already. So let us, the Africans, do it. If you could only support us, give us something, give us money, and we will force Niger into submission. And France must have given them a lot of financial support by now, or if not, must have made promises to them. But isn't that a big shame that an African brother is willing to sell out his fellow African just so he can get support from the West? Isn't that a big shame that instead of us, the Africans, uniting together and fighting against a common enemy, that is the French and the West, we will rather sell out our brother to the West so that we can get something in return? This is a big shame for ECOWAS. And I have said it, until ECOWAS will reevaluate themselves, to begin to be more of a Pan-Africanist, to really have the Pan-Africanist spirit in them. Until they change their ways, no one is ever going to take them seriously. No one. You can see when they said that they were going to intervene in Niger militarily if the President Mohamed Bazoum is not reinstated, what happened? The whole of Africa came out and said, no, we don't want it. Even in their countries, Nigerians came out and said, let the Nigerians be. Ghanaians came out and said, no, we don't want to be part of it. Even the French-speaking countries in Africa, they said, no, these people have suffered enough. These people have gone through so much. Let them be. How can you take the side of France against a fellow African country? How come? So they faced a lot of backlash. They thought the African people would support them, but they were shocked to saw that the African people were like, no, we've seen this play out so many times and we are done. We don't want it anymore. We do not want another Libya in West Africa. Let these people be. Let these people be. So that was a total blow. And that was a win for us, the African people, because we've not realized that we have to stand up for ourselves. We have to look out for each other. But you guys out there, what is your view on ECOWAS? Do you think that by now, after the huge embarrassment and backlash they got when they said they were going to invade Niger militarily, they might have realized that they were heading down the wrong way and have changed course, or they are still the same entity that they were a few months ago. Share your thoughts and opinions with us in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, don't forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of goodwill, like the one you're doing just now, help us a lot, and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.